Hello students! Today we continue with the unit tests that we started in the last lesson. Let's go to the next item. Create at least 2 custom menus. One will be a very long menu with all the pages included, and the other will be a small menu with 2 or 3 pages. We won't test the shortest menu because we already know that the theme works with short menus. Now, a menu with several pages has already been imported by the XML file. Let's just enable this menu to test it. Let's go to the menu manager. We can click on this second tab and assign a different menu to the main menu. Let's choose this menu here called All Pages. It has all the pages that have been imported. So let's see how it behaves in this menu position here. Let's go to the front end. And you can see that I have now a different menu, much bigger here. It has submenus too. Apparently everything is okay. Thanks to the CSS, the Bootstrap menu is working correctly. And the child items are displaying correctly too. We got 3 levels in our menu as we defined during the course. Let's see if it also displays correctly in responsive mode. Apparently it's okay too. Great. You'll notice there are other menus here in the menu manager. It will be very interesting if you could test each of them on all available menu positions in your theme. For example, here in our theme, we have 2 positions. I think it's interesting if you go ahead and test all the menus in both positions. By doing this, I figured out that this menu with all the pages doesn't look great here at the position number 2, here in the footer. Look at that. What I'm gonna do to solve this is I'm gonna restrict the number of sublevels in the menu. Let's go over to footer.php. And here I'm gonna add the depth argument. And set it to 1. Okay, it's better now. I think there's nothing wrong with that since the 2019 theme also has a menu in the footer and it's a 1 level menu only. So nothing wrong with that. Let's get back to the unit test page. Well guys, as I told you before, if I am to show you all the tests we need to do, I think we would need a lot of lengthy and boring video lessons. So my advice is that you, if you happen to be alone, or your team and you, look very carefully at each item of this checklist here. So we're gonna correct one by one any issues that the theme might have. They're not difficult to fix. Most will require you to write a little more CSS in the theme file, as these are corrections related to how the theme is presented. If you followed everything I've taught in this course, you should have made it to this point with only very small and precise problems to fix. Nothing you can fix with the help of a quick search on the internet or even following the instructions of the documentation itself. In the files that will be available in the next lesson, you'll be able to download the updated CSS file for the theme with all the additional modifications that I had to make to the theme. All of them will be at the end of the file, identified with the comment Content Adjustments. In addition, you can also copy the CSS snippets in the style.css at the following lines. If you're already working on your own theme, I advise you to give special attention to the following items. Pay a lot of attention because they are all extremely important cases to be corrected, okay? First, among the posts that have been imported, there is one called Template Sticky. This is a kind of featured post in WordPress. If we inspect the post, we'll see that there is a class called Sticky. it is required that you style this post in a different way than others, okay? That's what this class is for, Sticky. Let's go to the theme homepage. Notice that we have an extra post here, which is on the featured sticky post. So if you want to keep this list with only 2 posts, you can choose to remove the sticky post from the list by passing another argument to the WP query array. This argument is called ignore sticky posts. So let's go back to the list of posts. This post called Markup HTML Tags and Formatting is for you to define the general formatting of the theme. So you can style the content here, and you already have most of the theme styled. So this post is of great help to you. One more post, this one called Markup Image Alignment, is also a must. So you can use it to fix all image alignment issues in the theme. Of course, you need CSS to do that. Let's go to another one. Another very difficult case is this one here. There are 3 posts where you must correctly define the presentation of the post excerpt or the post short description. Pay attention to my explanation. In the first case, there is an element called read more in the post editor, and it is defined by the theme's user. The goal is that you have a button saying continue reading or something like that after this chunk of text here. But we still don't have this button, okay? So we need to fix that. The second case is a little difficult to understand at first, so pay attention. In the post editor, there is a field where the user can define an excerpt, and this is called a manual excerpt. They write the text here. Before you ask me, this field is also available in the classic editor, not only in Gutenberg, right? So when viewing the list of posts in the blog page and the list on archive pages, the text that should appear is this one here, if it is user defined, I mean, whenever you have some content inside this area. And this one is the post content and should appear when viewing the single post view. In the case of our theme, everything is correct. In the third case, the excerpt is auto-generated by the theme using the function called theExcerpt. You already know this function. These are the first 55 words of the post. So far, it is correct. I think this first case is the only one that is not working. To solve this, I will use the following code in the blog and archive content files. So I'm going to copy this here and I will paste in those locations. This is what I want to say here. If the post has a custom excerpt, which is the type of excerpt I've just showed you, called the menu excerpt, we're going to show its content. Now, if the post doesn't have a menu excerpt, what will be displayed is the content inside the editor that is before the read more block. It will be triggered whenever there is a read more block inside the post, which can be added by the user inside the post editing area. If you open this post in the editor, you see that tag inside the content. Which is generated by a block called more. This one here. Going back to the code. Notice here that we are using the function theContent to display the text with a parameter. This parameter defines the text inside the button in the front end. Now, if we don't have the read more tag, we show the excerpt with the help of the excerpt function, normally. This will help us solve our problem in the 2 points where we have excerpts showing up. So let's paste this code in the files we need. I'm gonna just remove this div here and paste the code here instead of the div. So this is for the content.php file. Let's go to the content archive.php and do the same. And the last one here in this content search.php. And let's see if we could solve the issue. That's it, and now we have the link here to read more. Okay, I have already shown the posts with comments. You already know what to do. These posts with the title post format are not my concern at the moment because the theme we're creating here doesn't support different post formats. But if your theme does it, you should style each one of these posts belonging to a certain post format in a different way, okay? For this, you can use the CSS class that is generated in the article tag, which starts with the word format. For example, format standard, format gallery, format image. We won't do anything here because we don't have these post formats in our theme. So let's skip this. One interesting thing is that you can find classes with similar names inside the post single view too. Here in the body tag and also here in the article tag. But you only see this if you have the post_class function inside the article tag, right? And you already know how to add this. You could also style the contents inside these gallery posts. They are full of small images and you should make them appear correctly inside the post as well. This is one of the edge cases. This huge title here is breaking our layout. So to solve this, it's very easy. Just copy this piece of code here to your CSS. This is another edge case. We don't have a title and therefore we can't open the post. To solve this, the easiest way is that you can add a link to the post on the publication date. This is a problem that we will also have in the 2 posts that appear on the homepage. And to solve this is again very easy. Let's go to the content files inside the template parts folder. And we're gonna add a link here where we get the publication dates and call the permalink function. We need to do the same thing here too in the template home.php file for the 2 blog entries we have. It's at the end of the file, here in the blog section. Let's do the same thing. Now we can visit the front end again. And here's the link. We also have the link in the blog archive. Finally, in addition to the WordPress units test, we should also test how the native WordPress widgets look like in all widget areas available in the theme. So that you can test everything at once, there is a plugin developed by the WordPress review team called Monster Widget. From its name, you can already imagine what it is. Yes, it is a widget that you can drag and drop into any widget area of your theme. The difference is that it has all the native WordPress widgets inside it, with all the possible settings. So let's install this plugin. And now to use it, just go over here to Appearance, Widgets, look for Monster Widget, and I just drag it to the first sidebar I want to test. Let's see what happens. Look at that. Now there are many different widgets on the sidebar. And as you've seen, there are several elements here that are breaking the layout. I'm gonna do the same thing in the second widget area. Well, that's even worse, guys. Now we've messed up the layout completely. But what's the goal here? The goal is very clear. You should make all the native WordPress widgets display correctly everywhere in the theme. You never know which widget your user will decide to use, so they should all look perfect. As I told you, this is a very time-consuming and frustrating job at times. But if you can successfully make your theme pass this huge amount of tests and requirements, any other task will be a piece of cake. For example, like sending the theme to another marketplace or another repository. Another tool you might want to test is the WooCommerce Monster Widget. It's similar to this plugin that I just showed you, but it's not an official plugin. That's why it's not so powerful. But I recommend testing WooCommerce widgets as well, okay? As I already mentioned at the beginning of this lesson, all the modifications related to CSS I'll make will be available for download in the next lesson. So just download the files available for download in the course if you haven't already done so, and open up the folder which belongs to the next lesson. The modifications are all there. The CSS code belonging to the widgets will be identified in the file with the comment General Widgets. A great test that you or your team can do is to open the theme in each of the major web browsers and see how it looks like in those softwares. You will fix any issues that may arise, and then you'll be ready to move on to the next section of this course. In the next section, with the theme ready, before we submit it to review, we will package the theme files and prepare them for distribution. So don't miss it, and don't forget to copy the CSS too, okay? They'll be available in the files for the next lesson. So until then.